Hello, and welcome as always to Chaos Travails. So I am speaking to you from Lalín, but that's not where I walked to today. We will get to that drama in a minute. Today I walked to, and I gotta be honest, I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Puxallos, Puxallos, but X's seem to be a sh in Gallego, I think. I don't know. I don't know if the double L is an L or if it stays a y. I gotta learn more about this language. Anyway, I walked to there. So this morning I got up, I went down at 7:45 as requested. It turns out they wanted to give me breakfast. Who's gonna complain about that? So I had a croissant and a little bit of pineapple juice. Fabulous. It's funny, she said, do you want coffee? I said, no, I don't really do coffee. And she's like, oh my God, well then what do you want? I said, maybe a little bit of juice. Now, coming from an American background, I would expect someone to be like, oh, orange juice. Maybe apple juice. I don't know. I feel like that's usually for kids. No, the first two choices were peach juice and pineapple juice. I guess we drink different juices here. So I had some pineapple juice and a croissant. And then I set off. As I mentioned yesterday, it started with a big uphill. What I didn't really process through at that time was that a lot of today was uphill. So I hit the highest point in the final 100 kilometers. So, I've gone as high as I'm going to go, but that doesn't mean we're done with hills yet. It's still up and down the whole way. So there are going to be plenty of difficult uphills for me to whinge about on here. But so today it was an up day. It was up. And I did not have rocket fuel like yesterday. Today was more of a Dory kind of day. Just keep swimming. I may have said that to myself more than once. Also, today's environment change. So I know you guys, if you've been following along on my Instagram or my Facebook, you've been seeing all these mystical forests for the past couple of days. Today it really opened up into a much, a more open, to use the same word, landscape. More pastoral, more farming or more grazing. Less foresty, but still absolutely lovely. And the clouds today, man, they put on quite a show. So, what else do I want to share about the walk? Oh, I did go into this one wooded area because there were still some woodsy parts. And as I'm walking, I suddenly hear a noise in the woods. And I'm like, ooh, either something big just fell because, acorns and things have been falling off trees and bits of branches. It's like, or there's something out here with me. I would like to know what that is because the last time this happened in New Jersey, it was a bear. So I'm coming around the corner and I'm like, oh, I want to see what we're up against here. And then within 30 feet of me, there is something very large and tan. And I had a moment of panic, like, oh my God, what could that be? I was expecting a deer, right? There are deer around here. It was a cow. It was a cow. Turns out that the pasture where they were grazing came right up against the path. So I was absolutely terrified of a cow for a brief moment. It didn't even notice me. So I got to Castro de Zone, which was the next big town along the way. It's where some people stop. But the albergue there was closed and there was no alternative place to sleep. So I looked at the map and it showed that it was only about 7 kilometers to the next place with sleeping arrangements. And I was like, sweet, let's do it. So while I'm in Castro, I call ahead to Estación de Lalín, which was that next spot. And I'm like, hey, can I reserve a bed for today? They had one establishment and they were like, no, sorry, we're completely full. I was like, oh, what's the next closest place? And they said, in Lalín, that's where I am. And then when I looked at the options in Lalín, there were like 10 things here. So I was like, oh, I'll figure it out when I decide to stop for the day. There was no way I could walk all the way to Lalín, which was further than Estación de Lalín. Now, as I'm walking, I'm looking at the map and it says 2.3 kilometers to my next destination. And I'm out on the road and I'm like, it's been 2.3 kilometers for sure. I'm not tracking kilometers on my watch, but I've gotten a sense of this by now. So I navigate on my app away from the map and into the actual guide. There was a town that they neglected to put on the map, which added another 6 kilometers to my day, which, for those of us here in the US, 6 kilometers is, over 3 miles. It's probably closer to 4. I don't know, between 3 and 4. And I was just not ready for that extra amount, right? I had already walked 6. I was only planning on walking another 6-ish total to that Lalín place. And now there's 6 more that just popped up. So it's not happening. So I just say, that's fine. We're gonna go to that place at least and see how we feel. So that place was, oh gosh, Puxallos, I think. And I walked there. And when I got there, I said, you know, I could make myself go more. I could. But my arches are starting to hurt a little bit. Things are feeling a little tender. I did a good distance yesterday. I've done another 9.5 today. I'm going to call it. And so I did. So I called it a day. And I called myself, well, before I called a cab, I said, you know what, before I get a cab, let's figure out where I'm actually going to sleep, because then I can tell the cab where to take me. So I start calling. First place, full. Second place, full. Third place, call me back in 5 minutes. I called back, full, 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 full. I think where I'm staying now is like my 7th or 8th phone call. Turns out there's, I don't know, something going on in town or in the area, or I don't know. But yeah, full. Oh, I was starting to get a little panic stricken when I got on to this number, because the places I'd been calling were anywhere from like the 12 to 35 area. This was the last one in that range. The next one up was going to be like 70 euros, and I just didn't want to do that. So then I was thinking about, do I push even further ahead, but then I'm paying more in the taxi, and I'm just like, what's going on? So I found this place. I called a cab. He came out to get me. And then as he took me down, I was like, hey, what time do you start tomorrow? And he's like, where do you want to be? I said, I want to be right back where you picked me up at 8. And he's like, oh, you want me to pick you up at 8? I'm like, no, I want to be here at 8. Can you pick me up at 7:45? And he said, yes. So I already have a ride arranged for tomorrow, which is very exciting, because with the taxiing, when I get to the end of this, I still have to be able to tell the people at the Pilgrim office, I walked every kilometer of that last 100. And if I started here in Lalín, that would not be true. Now, Lalín is not actually on the Camino, so Estación de, how am I going to show this to you? So if this is where I was, and I was walking across to Estación de Lalín, and then you keep going, you wind up in Alax, or Alasha. I don't actually know how you say it. Lalín is above Estación de Lalín, and it's part of a different Camino. And they meet up in Alax. But the amount that I have to go from Lalín to Alax is substantially less than the amount I have to go from Puxallos to Alax. And so I don't want to cheat. So tomorrow, back to Puxallos to continue. And I probably will sleep in Alax tomorrow. Came to the hotel, got my room, perfectly lovely. And then I took my first really good shower in like a week. The doors actually closed. The temperature actually got warm. The water stayed on. I didn't want to get out. It was so nice. I've forgotten how much I really, really love a long, hot shower. It was magic. It was absolutely magical. The Wi-Fi here is okay. I can sort of browse the internet, but upload's sure not going to happen. So you guys are going to get a couple days in a row the next time I get decent internet. That's all for now. I am going to go find some food because, to be honest, I'm starving. And tomorrow I'll let you know how the journey goes from Puxallos to Alax. Now, if I've got rocket fuel again tomorrow, I will probably go past Alax and then taxi back to it, because I want to walk as far as I can each day. So that way first of all, walk while it feels good, because I know by now that you don't know when the injuries are going to behave or when they're not. But then also, I kind of want my last day, the day I actually go to Santiago, to be a very short day, because the Pilgrim Mass is at noon, and I'd love to be able to get the Pilgrim Mass the day I arrive, not have to sleep and then go to Pilgrim Mass the next day. I don't know. It just feels right. We'll see what happens, though. So with that said, I'm about 50 miles, between 40 and 50, about 65 kilometers for those of you from Canada who are watching. Hi, work friends. So I think it's only going to be about 5 more days, assuming everything behaves itself. And yeah, so sweetness. I'll keep you posted tomorrow. And thanks as always for being here. Bye.